What's up, guys? It's Adrian from adoriani.com. Today I'm going to speak about sends and basses in Pro Tools. It took me some time to understand what are the differences and similarities between sends and basses, but I finally got it. I hope you will too after watching this little introduction video, as I'm planning to speak a bit about this today. Basically, buses are used for the routing inside your DAW. They are simply links between inputs and outputs of tracks, plugins, etc. If you want a comparison with the real world, buses are the cables that link the inputs and outputs of different hardware or audio channels. So let's say I have the output of a preamp and I want to connect it to the input one of an audio interface. The way I will do it is through a cable. So the cable in our case is the bus in Pro Tools. It links the preamp's output to the input of the interface. Hope you are with me so far because things are about to become more complicated. Just kidding. So we said that the bus is like a cable which connects inputs and outputs of audio hardware, tracks, etc. I use in Pro Tools mono and stereo buses to link different mono or stereo tracks. But where do you find them? You can find the list of buses here, and you can use them, as I said, as inputs or outputs. Now let's see a scenario of using buses. In Pro Tools you can find the input and the output of tracks here. Let's say I have an instrument track which I want to connect to an audio track. Like in the real world, we'll select the output, in our case the output of the instrument track, and we'll use, let's say, bus 3, 4. This will be our virtual cable between the instrument track and the audio track. Now, in the audio track's input, I will select the same bus 3, 4 because it is the link between the two tracks. I hope you are with me so far. So the output from the instrument track goes to the input of the audio track. Now I'll engage the record button and we are supposed to record. This is a simple case because we have only 2 tracks. But what you do when you have more than 20 plus tracks in your session? One way of helping yourself in order to avoid confusion, you can rename the buses for an easy spotting. And you can do it right here. So let's rename this. Now you can see that the name was changed in both input and output. Okay. That was a short introduction to buses. If you want to know more, check out my music production masterclass, where I'm talking in depth about the steps of producing a song from an idea to a ready, finished song, which includes also the use of buses. Use your discount in the description below. Now, let's talk a bit about sends. So, as in the case of buses, if you want to use sends, first, you have to set the output and the input of the tracks you want to connect to the same bus. And you want to know the bus of the track to which you are sending the audio. Again, with sends, you simply send an audio signal from a track to another, pretty similar like buses. So, if you want to use sends, just click here and select the bus you want to send audio signal to. Now, let's recap a bit. With buses, you send an audio signal from a track to another, and you can control the amount you are sending by using the volume fader. With the sends, you can send an audio signal from a track to another, and you can control the amount you are sending by using these faders here. Now, let me show you some similarities between buses and sends. In the first case, I'm using buses to connect the instrumental track with this auxiliary track. and now I'll use sends to achieve the same thing. You can see that I have the same bass here. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do I need them if I can just use some basses or just sends? First of all, basses and sends are almost similar in functions, but still have some differences, as one of them could be the fact that you cannot use sends without having basses first. So, how and when should you use them? You should always experiment. I know it sounds vague, but you should always experiment and maybe discover your ideal way of using buses and sends. In my case, I use buses whenever I want to link different types of tracks, and I use sends only with effects. And I already showed you how in some of my tutorials, like the ones of how to use a reverb or a delay. However, if you want to see in detail, step by step, the way you can use sends and buses to improve the workflow and your audio production, you can always check my music production masterclass. Your discount is located in the description below. That's it for today, guys. If you have any questions or have other ways that you use buses and sends, share with us in the comments below. Until next time, stay cool and make great music.